the police commissioner. The police commissioner has arguably helped the least out of all of these characters, and I think that's why he's at the bottom of this list. I'm not saying he's a bad character, but he hasn't really helped a lot that much. He has made appearances, but arguably his biggest help, when he helped Jay and his ragtag crew get to Ninjago, that got retconned. So, in a sense, I wouldn't say it never really happened, because I know a lot of people will debate me and say, oh, it did, so I'm not going to even start. But it's not really his fault that, the police department is really lacking in terms of stuff. But hopefully in the new 2022 installment, we'll learn why the police department has been lacking. And maybe, just maybe, the mayor has something to do with it. Scott. Yeah, this one was definitely unexpected for a lot of people, considering I know how much a lot of people love this character. And I'm not saying I love this character because it's at the bottom of today's list, but there are some issues I have with the character. First off, the character was very hyped up, especially with the Prime Empire shorts. Especially with one particular line of, "I've been waiting for you for a long time," indicating that there was something more to this character. Like, Scott somehow knew Jay for some reason. I still remember when I made that theory that Scott and Jay were basically from the same person, but Scott is like an alternate future version of the character of Jay, which, that would have made sense with the theory of that line. But in the end, nothing really came out of it, and it definitely affected his overall character. And while his personality and backstory are great, I like him. His overall, when he was written, his writing isn't exactly the best. Because, again, he was overhyped, and, he just didn't match the hype that the character was originally brought. So, that's why he's at the bottom of the list. Also, just a fun fact, this character was actually named after a former employee of Ninjago who sadly passed away. The Upply. The Upply consists of Plundar the Thief, Fungus the Wizard, Corcoran the Discount He-Man, and Adam the Spider. This team was found in Rock Bottom during around the middle of Season 13, Master of the Mountain. And while they seem to be good, they all have seemingly good personalities, the truth is, only one of them actually had a respective arc, that being Plundar, with him being very skeptical about Cole's leadership, and Cole basically telling him to take a chance. And he listened and trusted Cole. And that's why I think a lot of people just like Plundar, but not the rest of the Upply. And that's why they're at this placement. At least they weren't nearly as hyped as Scott was. However, because only one of them actually got a respective arc, it definitely downplays, this group very well. Racer 7. Racer 7 was one of the three side characters, or the three main ones, during Season 12 Prime Empire, those being Scott, Racer 7, and Okino. And by the looks of it, you can already guess who my favorite of the trio is. But Racer 7 had a pretty good arc, which basically she was quote-unquote programmed to lose, aka break free of her programming, and win the Speedway 5 billion. Obviously with some help, of course. But the thing that makes her in the lower end of the list is, well, her arc only lasted like 2 episodes. She basically just was sidelined as soon as she came in, which is a bit disappointing because I really wanted to see more of Racer 7. Considering I think she was pretty good, she was well written. I just think had she gotten more screen time, she definitely would have stood out to me a lot more. Twitchy Tim. Twitchy Tim was the side character for the very somewhat controversially named installment called The Island. And he had one major arc, and that was him dealing with bravery, learning how to be brave, thanks to Lloyd. And he definitely received the final blow with a future side character later down the list, Ronin. He delivered the final blow, which was really awesome, as he absolutely learned about bravery. He definitely took that lesson to heart, and it was awesome. But similar to that of Racer 7, I just wish we saw more of him. Sometimes you just don't see enough of a good character, and it does kind of pain me that we didn't see Twitchy Tim for a little bit longer. But then again, I can't really blame Twitchy all that much, considering The Island was only like 4 episodes, so the only thing Twitchy Tim really has to blame is the format. Scales! This snake of the Hypnobride tribe has helped the ninja a load of times, from helping the citizens of Ninjago get to underground during the reincarnated overlord's reign during the last episode of season 3. Then he became a recurring side character, starting around season. Well, he became a side character starting from season 3. Then he reappeared again in season 7 to give some helpful information about the Vermilion and about what Crux and Acronix were up to. Then his most recent appearance came in season 11's Fire chapter, where he and Acidicus helped the ninja, more specifically Kai, Jay, and Cole, learn who Asphira was. So while I agree Scales has helped in a variety of ways, in the grand scheme of things, he has helped kinda... In the grand scheme of things, I think there have been more side characters that have actually helped more than him. And if you noticed, I was doing the snake noise every time I said an S noise. I just did it on purpose just to be funny, okay? So don't hate this video because I did that. The Elemental Masters. The Elemental Masters are elemental masters that first appeared during the 4th season Tournament of Elements and took part in that tournament. And they eventually found out that the tournament was a ruse and basically helped to stop Chen in the final battle between the Anacondroid army and the full-on Elemental Masters. And yes, I am including Skylar as part of the Elemental Masters. I'm not going to individuate her or something like that. And they didn't make a reappearance until Season 9, as a group, I mean. Until Season 9, where partway through the season they all got jailed, but then they all escaped. But were kind of sidelined. One reason I put them in the 9th position is because, well, I really don't like how the writers kind of only prioritize Skylar and not some of the other Elemental Masters like Griffin Turner or Neuro or even Shade. They only just do Skylar. And while I do think Skylar has had the most development out of all the Elemental Masters, that doesn't mean you shouldn't prioritize other Elemental Masters for that. It's the same thing with Lloyd. Just because Lloyd is the main character does not mean you shouldn't prioritize the other ninja. You shouldn't give them development. So I think that was so the writing as a whole is a little bit of a hit or miss for me. But I do agree that they've helped quite a lot. And that's why they deserve their position on this list. Ronin. Ronin actually didn't appear in the TV series at first. He actually appeared in the Shadow of Ronin video game, which, why isn't that game canon, but Ramos Shadows is? But anyways, Ronin is a bounty hunter, and he has helped the ninja and turned against the ninja on seemingly equal chances. And yeah, I know that it is a controversial decision to put him a little high on the list, especially with, you know, his infamous, the infamous twist of him being the villain of the island, considering a lot of people hated that twist. But I do think Ronin has helped quite a lot. I mean, there was the money shower from Season 5. He directed the ninja towards the real temple, even if at first it was a delusion as a I can't talk today. Even though he misdirected them at first. Then he turned against them in Season 6, then helped them again later in that same season, then helped him again in Season 7, and then he broke his leg, and then he doesn't reappear until Season 9 during the busting out of all the good characters. So yeah, he's helped quite a lot, and even despite his now infamous twist, I still think he is a good side character. Akita. Akita is a formling from the Netherrealm, and during her first few episodes, she was a wolf, accompanying Lloyd to hopefully find Zane. And Lloyd called her Red, and there was that little mini argument between them about them lying and deceiving each other and shit, which I don't really understand why that was placed there. Or at least it was placed very awkwardly in the episode, in my opinion. But she did help a little bit. And I think what really carries her, especially in this high of a position on the list, is her backstory. Her backstory is one of the best in Ninjago. I mean, her basically, that it kind of fuels her whole motive, essentially, as she saw her whole village being frozen by the Ice Emperor and now wants revenge. That kind of reminds me of another villain. I'm not going to say her name, but you all know who I'm talking about. But anyway, she wants revenge against the Ice Emperor for supposedly freezing her village and quote-unquote killing her own brother, Kataru the bear. And she does set out to try and help, but when Lloyd gets captured, she has to take things into her own hands. And she sneaks around some Blizzard Samurai guards, and she even tries to stab the Ice Emperor. That just shows she's a badass. She tried to stab him with a freaking knife or a dagger, whatever. And while in the end she failed and eventually gets frozen, I think she helped for what I think she was a good help for what she did in her respective chapter. Vanya first had actually somewhat of a controversial start, as a lot of fans, especially fans that want Cole to be a gay character, absolutely despised her as a character. Also because they were tired of the whole love at first sight trope, which I can agree with. It is getting kind of annoying. But eventually I think some people started to like her a lot more, especially considering she was actually written pretty well. She didn't really have that insane of a backstory, at least I don't think she did, but her personality definitely shined through, and especially she helped Cole and the Upley quite a lot in her own venture, even despite being disowned by her own father. And she actually led to, her father being, arrested by the flying people, the flying guards, whatever their names are. I forgot their names. And she eventually became Queen of Shintaro. So at least she helped quite a lot to Cole, and definitely does seem like a companion to Cole in Master of the Mountain. I am Okino! I'm sorry, I have to do the voice, but Okino is easily the best Prime Empire side character that the season had to offer. He's essentially sort of like a way better version of Racer 7, because Racer 7 and Okino had the same arc, which was whole breaking their programming, but with Okino we actually see more of it. He appears for like twice as long as Racer 7 does. Okino has 4 episodes to his name, 5, 6, 7, 8 of Prime Empire, where we actually see his whole mindset of constantly failing a bunch of masters to the point where he's just straight up depressed, and even getting, quote, positive mental attitude. I'm sure Jacksepticeye would love that. But anyways, and then he gets depressed once again, knowing that the whole world that he's in is just, a game. It's just an illusion. He essentially becomes a full-on goth. Fun is an illusion. And then he even becomes kind of more badass when he's depressed, because I remember when the frickin' red visor sort of thing, there was a red visor thing that was shooting lasers at him. He wasn't even looking, and he was dodging them with his sword. I thought that was just badass as hell. Then he finally succeeds in breaking free of his programming before standing up to his own master, Unagami, because Unagami essentially promised him, if you deceive the ninja, I will make you human. And he had to basically choose, who do I side with? Unagami, my master, or the ninja, my friends? And he eventually said, I'm gonna side with my friends, and he helped defeat the Red Dragon, and basically got the Keyblade for Terra Karana. And now he's a Ronin of Terra Karana. Now he no longer goes by others' adventures, he creates his own adventures. And I just really like it. And I just really like him as a character. And he definitely deserves being in the top 5. Faith, otherwise known as Heavy Metal, she helped realize to her pack of friends known as the Dragon Hunters to know how much of a fucking liar Iron Baron was, and that Oni Land the Oni all left, and basically how he's just using fear to their advantage, to his advantage. Blech, I can't talk. And she basically had to wear that mask because Iron Baron is also a sexist because he didn't want everyone else to know that his best hunter was a woman. So, sexist. But anyway, she did help quite a lot. Her personality definitely helped, especially with that Russian accent. I had to do her accent. She helped quite a lot, even if she eventually got captured in the end and a little sidelined. At least she appeared once again in March the Oni to help fend off the Oni. And I think that was really cool for her to reappear again after Hunted, because I was worried that with a lot of these side characters that we've seen, they only appeared once and then just never appear again. But I'm glad that Faith returned, especially considering her arc was very well done. It's just that in the grand scheme of things, she only helped 2 times, and these next top 3 have either 1, better personality / backstory, or 2, they just helped overall a lot more than she did. Cyrus Borg. Cyrus Borg first appeared in the 3rd season, where he actually was known as a great inventor, and basically created another side character turned into a main character, Pixel. His inventions basically changed everything about Ninjago in universe, obviously, and he's helped the ninja on a number of occasions. He helped give the new techno robes and the techno blades to confuse the Nindroid systems. He then helped the ninja get into the Digiverse and back out. And even though he was kind of he was kind of mixed in between the hero and a bad guy with, the Overborg persona, that wasn't really his fault. And then he doesn't make a huge reappearance until Season 5. Yes, I know he appeared in Season 4, but he didn't actually help in Season 4. He appears once again in Season 5, making vehicles for the ninja to help in the final battle against Moro. He made the Titan Mech, that Ghost Cycle for Cole, the other cool vehicle for Jay, and I think he did. I don't know if he did something else for Lloyd. I forgot. I know he didn't do anything for Kai because the famous 32 thread head count headband. So, and then he doesn't really help again until Season 7, where he tries to help the ninja shut down the Iron Doom, but unfortunately that was unsuccessful. Then he doesn't really reappear again until Season 10, where he was frozen in the Oni Cloud. But then he helps once again in Season 12 by helping the ninja get into Prime Empire. So yeah, Cyrus Borg has definitely helped quite a lot in the grand scheme of things, and that's why that absolutely earns 3rd place on my list. Benthomar. Yeah, I know he's the most recent side character on this list, but hear me out. I love this guy. His personality is just so likable. And that is further stated by his backstory, which is incredibly sad, if you ask me. He basically is adopted by King Trimar, who saved him from a pack of eels. But Kelmar just wants no part of him whatsoever. And Trimar treats him like his own son, even though he's adopted. But Kelmar is just so reclusive with him, to say the least. Even when Bentho tries to get Kelmar to love him, it just never works. And it's not like Kelmar or Bentho did something to Kelmar that make Kelmar feel this way. Kelmar just simply didn't like him because, well, he believes that any children that Trimar has should be anyone that is of their royal blood, which is essentially kind of like the same thing as a racist. And eventually Bentho is like, you know what? He's never gonna love me. There's just no chance. And then we see Kelmar killing his own dad, which I put at number 3 on my top 5 best plot twists in the series, and Bentho tries his absolute best to save his father, the one person who loved him, and it just doesn't work, and Trimar unfortunately dies from being, well, shot by his own son. But before that happens, Trimar says that it wasn't the ninja who shot him, but it was Kelmar, and Bentho was like, no, not my brother. My brother could not have done this. But then he later knows that this is what happened, and so then he becomes a really trustful ally to the ninja. And let me say, if we're talking about side characters that have been full on fleshed out, he's easily within the top. That's why he's in such a high position, because his character is so undeniably fleshed out, and just within one season, mind you, one season, his character is just like so fleshed. And it's so awesome. And he's such an excellent fighter, and I really want to see him again, and hopefully we can see him again later down the line. And at number 1, I know this is a shocking choice for me, but my favorite side character is Misako. Yeah, I know, a lot of people hate this character for a very silly reason. They hate her because, well, she abandoned her child, which, yeah, I can understand, like, but if you look at it deeper, she in a sense had to. She had no other way around it. She did it in a sense to prevent the final battle from even happening. So in the end, she was trying to save her son and her husband at the same time. And she has helped out the ninja on so many occasions that it'd be just way too long to discuss in just this segment alone. So, yeah, she is my number 1 all-time favorite side character. And, well, she gets way too much hate, and I think she should be a lot more liked, if that's what you're wondering. But anyways, what do you guys think of this list? Who are your favorite side characters? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the red subscribe button, and click on the notification bell to see every video that I will upload. And I'll see all you folks in the next video. Bye bye!